Hi everyone, I hope you're all having a great day today. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about my recent trip to Tennessee that I took. I was down there for a little over a week and I had a really interesting time, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about it and how it's impacted me. So, as some of you may know, I was born in Nashville, Tennessee, and I spent the first half of my life in Tennessee. We lived in a small town outside of Nashville, or in the Nashville area. So we lived there for a long time, and so I still have family that lives down there, and I go there every now and then. And so I was down there last week, and it really just reminds me just how much I love the South and how much I love Tennessee, because we were driving down I-75 to get there, and going through Ohio. If you've gone through Ohio on I-75, it's mostly boring. Not a whole lot happening. But then once we got into Kentucky, everything just changes. You're just surrounded by mountains and trees, and it's just so. I don't really know the best way to describe it. I mean, if you've seen it, if you've been down that way, you probably have an idea. But it just feels so scenic and just so, I don't know, it feels so different from Michigan or from anywhere that near here, that I live in. But it was just so cool to go down that way. And then on our way down to Tennessee, we passed by my grandfather's, where he used to live. And every time we passed by where his exit would be, every time, where we would get off, we always say hi to him. Unfortunately, he's passed away about, 24 years ago, I think. So, but we still think of him every time we pass by. And then we went into Tennessee, and it just, I don't know, man. It's like, I guess if you live here in Michigan and you've been here your whole life, and if you were to go away for a few years and then you'd come back here and you'd see all the things that you're familiar with and see the things that and it's just such an interesting feeling, because all the things that we see on the road, on the highway, I passed by our favorite exits that we would always stop at with our restaurants, and like I said, we passed by my grandfather's exit, and so it's always such an interesting experience. And I had a really good time. In fact, on the first day of me coming down there, the sunset was beautiful. We were getting home right around at around sunset time, and it was like a pink. It was just such a colorful sunset, kind of like a pink or orangish type sunset. I have some pictures I took of it, and it was just so beautiful, and it really just made me think even more how much I loved Tennessee. And unfortunately, we can't really see the sunset where I live, because it's blocked by trees and houses and and basically the city. So it was just so beautiful, and I really did enjoy that. And I also went to Alabama on one of the days that I was there. It was just a short little day trip, but we went down there to Huntsville, that's right. And I went to a military museum. We got to see a whole bunch of different, like, World War II stuff, and actually there was some Civil War stuff, Revolutionary War stuff. Like, they had a whole bunch of war, like, military equipment and weapons and stuff. That was really cool, because I'm a history buff and I love that kind of stuff. So that was a really fun thing, and I really enjoyed Alabama. There was also some very beautiful scenery down there as well. And it just, overall, I really do just love the South. I don't know, man. Like, I guess it would be for if you really like the Midwest, but it's just the mountains, the trees, the scenery. The grass seems so much greener down there. Like, the grass is pretty green up here, but I don't know. I don't know if it's because they get more sun or something, but the grass is just so much greener down there, at least from what I could tell. And one of my favorite things about the South as well is the red clay soil, which, if you know anything about the South, there's red. Up here in Michigan, I think it's more black or darker. I don't know. I don't really pay much attention to it because it's not that interesting to me. But when we go down there, man, just seeing that red soil, it just really stands out. It really just pops, especially if there's a whole pile of it or a whole, like, section of it, which I did take some really good pictures of it. I'll be posting on them later too. But it was just so cool. I just loved driving around and seeing all these little patches of the red dirt, and it was just so beautiful to me, and I really do love it so much. and I got to go to Publix because Publix is a supermarket store down in the South. They don't have them up here in Michigan, but I went to Publix and I got to make a couple announcements there because they don't have a Meijer down there, so I wasn't able to get to do my usual Meijer announcements. So I was able to go to Publix, and the manager there at the one that we went to, she's always nice and lets me make announcements. So that was really fun. I got to stay in practice and all that stuff. So, and I got to announce to a different crowd that I don't normally get to. So that was a lot of fun. And most of the day, I spent a few days at home just watching TV, watching westerns or other movies and stuff. But I really do love the South very much. It's just so, it really is nice. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go to my childhood home. That was one of the things I wanted to do, but we didn't have enough time. But hopefully we're going to do that the next time we go down there. But we did go through Nashville, and I took some great pictures of Nashville, I think. Some, the downtown, the skyline was really nice. And we went to probably my favorite restaurant ever, or at least certainly one of them. It's called Amerigo's. It's in downtown Nashville, and I've been going there since I was, that's like almost 20 years ago. I can't remember what year we first started. It was like the early 2000s. I know that feels like 1,000 years ago, but I've been going there since I wasn't even a teenager yet when I started going there. And so it's just so, going there, it was so different because something we didn't know was that apparently you had to, you had to show them your license plate and stuff, because apparently they had a lot of unauthorized people parking there, so you had to prove that you're a customer and show the license plate so the people wouldn't tow your car, or, the tow trucks wouldn't tow your car. So that was a really odd experience. But the interior of the restaurant, like, everything looks the same as if it did all the way back then. Like, the interior, they still had the same picture up that I always looked at every time we'd go in. I took a picture of that because that's so iconic to me. And the interior just looked the same. Everything looked the same pretty much. The food, was pretty much the same. The bread and all that. Like, it just, I think the best way I could describe it to you is, like I said earlier about, if you had like a restaurant or a place that you went to all the time, then you stopped going there for years, and then you came back. It just, that's the best way I could describe how it felt for me. It was just so weird because it felt just like it did 15 plus years ago. It was more than 15 years ago, but at the same time it's all different because I'm grown up now. It's just so interesting. Here's a little story. When, back then when I was living there, my dad, we were all living down there, and I think I might have mentioned this on my page before, but I used to collect road signs, like highway signs, interstate signs, and my dad had, I can't remember how he met the person, how he got in contact, but I guess he knew someone in the TDOT, the Department of Transportation in Tennessee, and so he was able to let us, they let us go into their compound, or their, I don't know what it's called, but we'd go inside, or we went inside, and they'd let my dad just take whatever signs that they threw away, or they put in a little can. What do you call it? Like kind of like a dumpster, but not an actual, like, not trash, but like basically the container where they threw the road signs that were, they were damaged, they were weathered or whatever. And so they just let us take them for free. And so we'd go there, because that was in Nashville, and we'd go there in the afternoon, pick up whatever signs I wanted to get to add to my collection. And then after that, we'd go to Amerigo's for dinner. And so it's just part of a tradition that we always have done ever since I was, I still can't remember what year it was when I first started going, but that was a tradition we used to do, And then we also passed by the Predator Arena where the Predators play, and because that was near where Amerigo's is. And so that's another thing that me and my dad used to do as well. He'd also take me to Predator games, and that was a lot of fun. My dad actually knew some of the people who did the radio, the commentating, I think they were, and that we used to go there sometimes. I remember one time I had a basketball game at school, and then after that, Dad said, "Hey, do you want to go watch a hockey game?" I'm like, "Yeah." And it's just little thoughts like that. from bringing up and sharing. And so yeah, we passed by the arena, the stadium. I can't remember what it's called, but it's where the Predators play in Nashville. And so it really just brings back so many childhood memories, and it really is such a great place. I encourage you all, if you haven't been to Tennessee, if you haven't been to Nashville, you need to go, at least just for a little trip, because it is such a special place, you know, to my heart. So, but yeah, that's going to be pretty much the end of this video. And if you have any questions about my trip there, you know, if you want to know anything, feel free to ask me anytime. So, thanks for watching and have a great day. Goodbye.